Good evening. It's April and we're on year 2 of Radical Discipline, day 5. Thank you so much for joining me. Please put in the comments, how is it going? How are you doing on your Radical Discipline journey? I am doing well. I'm getting quite a bit of good sleep by disciplining myself to turn off everything, turn off the phones, and I have this sleep routine now, and it's going very well. So I'm excited about that. I didn't have that on my list for Radical Discipline, but it's going good. I hope that you're getting your rest. You're going to need it. I want to talk tonight about writing things down. But first I want to make a big announcement. The YouTube page for Radical Discipline is up. I'm in the middle of sunsetting Flourish Walk, which was my nonprofit. I had it operating in it for 9 years, 5 years as a 501c3. So we're closing that out and we're launching Radical Discipline. Right now, it's just the YouTube page and our journey here together, taking things slow, writing things out and taking my time. So we'll see where that goes. But you can share now. Each one of these will be on YouTube. I've downloaded the first day and I'll download the rest of the days. It takes a little while, so I'll download each day. And so you can share the YouTube channel. I would love to get 1,000 subscribers and to get monetized. That would be awesome, a blessing to me. And I would love if you would like to like, share, and subscribe to the Radical Discipline YouTube channel. Surprisingly, no one has that name, or not too many people. So I got actually Radical Discipline. And so I'll keep putting here, for those who are following on Facebook, information about Radical Discipline. You can also subscribe to the YouTube page. So please share with those who are like, I'm not on Facebook, because I understand. And let them know that we are now on YouTube. Thank you so much for sharing that information. Someone asked, of course, having the nonprofit, someone asked, do they give to Flourish Walk? So I still have Giveify, I still have all of that, but anyone that ever feels led to be a blessing to my life, I welcome that. I love to give. I'm a giver, so I don't know. I mean, I have some friends that are givers. I was going to say, nobody can outgive me. I don't know. Like, we just try to outgive each other. But the Cash App is actually Radical Discipline. And so you can do that on Cash App, and you can actually Zelle. You can actually Zelle the number. There's information somewhere on this page. So go ahead and check it out. So I want to talk about writing things out because it's so important. I am so proud of myself. A part of Radical Discipline is I put this in the YouTube page, but I wanted to pay off my car. That was my last big debt, and I paid it off back in June. And so that was huge. So then I'm moving into saving, investing, and, getting, just all kinds of things. I don't want to share all of my stuff on here. But I want you to know that you can have goals that you will accomplish sooner than you have listed. So all the things you're putting down that you want to execute in Radical Discipline, writing it down and looking at it every day, speaking it and focusing on it, you'll find yourself doing those things even before your deadline if you exercise discipline, which that's what we're doing here. So I want to challenge you and encourage you. You can meet your goals before your deadline. And one of the things that writing helps you do is to stay focused, but it also helps you to pursue peace. I really encourage people to get a journal. I used to go to Ross, and especially at the beginning of the year, and buy journals and give them out to the ladies that would attend the monthly Bible study. I would just give out the journals, and I loved buying journals, especially at Ross where they're $3 or $4. So I don't do that anymore. Now I create journals and I sell them. So there will be a Radical Discipline journal coming soon. And so, and if you have a business or a ministry and you're like, I want to make a journal for that, reach out to me. It's very simple, very easy. I'll shoot you a great price and we'll get that done in a week or so. I don't know if it'll even take that long. But yeah, you definitely want to have journals for your ministry, for your business, for your private use, your family reunions. It's very nice to see pictures of yourself, your loved one, or something that motivates you. I don't do at the time guided journals where like you guide your thoughts. The purpose for journaling for me and what I love is when you're just pouring out what's in your heart or writing things that are in your mind or your heart. I like to call it brain dumping. When you get to that space where you just feel like overwhelmed, a lot of times you're ignoring your thoughts. You're ignoring what you want to, the outside cares of the world and other people's needs, your other responsibilities are drowning out what your body's trying to tell you, what your heart's trying to tell you, what your mind is trying to tell you. And so journaling helps you to be still and just write and learn how to listen to your thoughts, because we can drown our thoughts out. And ways that we drown our thoughts out and what our spirit is saying to us, what God's saying to us, what we're thinking is music. A lot of times, if you find yourself, you wake up playing music, you get in a car playing music, you just can't do anything without music. And I do understand that music does motivate and it does incite intense emotion. It's mood music, right? And so you do, if you want to play music to get up and get going, and I understand that, but you have to sit in silence daily and just listen to your thoughts, listen to your heart, what's going on in your spirit, and write things down. And so I want to just throw that out there, that writing is such an important part of exercising radical discipline, and it's helping you to see, because life moves so fast and we have brilliant thoughts and ideas, and we have very deep emotions that if we take a moment and kind of delve into how we're feeling, we'll understand why we're making the decisions we're making, why we feel anxious, why we feel paralyzed, what's causing our anger. But we have to take some time and listen to ourselves, acknowledge what we're thinking and feeling, and write it down. Then I like to look back and say, oh my goodness, I was in the same exact position last year. Or, oh my goodness, I grew so much from last year. It's really a black and white way to track what's happening with you. Sometimes we can, see things through rose-colored glasses, or we can have a biased perspective about certain situations and things. But when we actually are writing facts down and things as they happened, how they happened, who said what, then we can't kid ourselves. We can't lie to ourselves, and we can't deny the truth, and we can't cover things up because we're writing it down as it happens. We're writing it down in truthfulness. And so it's so important, if you're a busy person, to take that disciplined time to write. And so writing helps you. Why? Writing helps you to pursue peace, a peace of mind. It also helps you to pursue purpose without distraction. If I'm writing daily, maybe before I go to bed, my to-do list or the things that I need to accomplish this week, I like to do that on the weekends. I start on Sunday evenings writing what I'm going to do for the week. And sometimes I'll even start Friday nights, because how many of you know when you have you're juggling different ventures, you don't necessarily have a 5-day work week. And so there are things that I write a to-do list out about on Sunday evenings. And then there's things that I write a list out about on Friday mornings. So Friday mornings, I'm looking at my weekend activities. Sunday nights, I'm looking at my weekday activities. And so I want to encourage you to get a journal. I used to tell my children a couple of years ago, bring me that tablet, and they bring me iPads. No, the real tablet, the one with the wire binding, the one with the lines, the paper and pen. I need that tablet with the purple cover, so they know now when I ask for a tablet, I'm talking about paper. And so there is research. I love digital resources, but there is research that says that if you write things down with paper and with pen, that there's something else that's synced when you're writing with your hand than digitally. So I do want to encourage all of you, and I want to validate all of you who are old school and you're like still taking notes with paper and pen. Keep that up. If it's not broke, don't don't fix it. If you're productive and you get things done in your own tracking mechanism, do that. But I also want you to learn and how to integrate. Take a project, take a part of your life and do things digitally and just see how that works and stay up to date with what's happening. Stay up to date with project management tools. Radically disciplined people are lifelong learners. I stay in the mix. My how old is he? My 19-year-old, my 21, 19-year-old are home from college. Well, they're going back tomorrow, but the 19-year-old, his word is lock in, locked in, lock in. You know, he keeps saying that. So I took it. So now when I'm saying something and I say lock in. I took it. And so you're going to hear me say that. Lock in. And what that means is stay focused and let's get this done right now. Or stay focused, hear what I'm saying, like, hey, pay attention, you know. Not snapping at y'all, but you know I'm saying like shake yourself and get back on task. And so because brilliance is definitely easily distracted. It can be because we're having so many thoughts. So I want to talk about that. As you're becoming radically disciplined and as you've mapped out your goals for the year or for the day, it is so important to stay focused on doing those things because the spigot of creation is opening up. And when that spigot is opening up, you'll start remembering stuff that you were going to do 20 years ago and like, oh, now's the time. You'll think because your mind went back to that great idea you had that, oh, now I'm supposed to do that. That's why it came to me. You'll start dreaming about just things in your past, and you'll be like, oh, you'll be going down memory lane. So many things will distract you because you're becoming clearer, and then you're processing thoughts, you're processing ideas, and you feel motivated, and so your mind is reawakening and throwing things out there and remembering because you are walking in clarity. So I always encourage people when you're working on one project and the spigot of creativity is open in your mind to have a different journal or have a Word document or a Google Doc, whatever you use for notes, even on your phone, and just say future projects or name it what you want to, 2026 ideas. Write down those things. Don't lose them again. Write them down and take note of them. Even in just writing it down and getting it out of your mind, you'll see that that's all you really needed to do. You'll feel comfortable. You'll feel at peace knowing that I didn't ignore my creativity, but you won't stop your progress on what you said you were going to do. I hope that makes sense because it's very easy to start things with excitement and then there's the lull and the monotony of the actual work where we can give up, where we can stall, where we can get stuck, where we can get distracted, or worst case scenario, we can quit. And so I want to encourage you that the things that you are going to pursue in your radical discipline, don't stop those things until you've actually completed them. So this is where the journaling helps, because when you're writing down a commitment to yourself. It's private. It's one-on-one. It's saying, this is what I commit to do. And I love there's a scripture in the Bible. It says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. How much time would we save from ourselves and others if we would just be direct? Direct does not mean mean. Direct does not mean ugly. It's not negative. It's actually a gift because it allows the person that's asking you to know that you're not available. And then it helps them to move on. Instead of telling them, let me think about it, let me pray about it, let me circle back, let me get back to you. Usually up front, if that's something that you have the capacity to do. And if it is not, then you just need to say no up front. And that's just how it goes. I really like when you have a person in your life who's very honest and who knows your weaknesses. Sometimes we cover them up because we want to act like we don't have any, which is silly. We all do. But I had a friend. One time I was so overwhelmed. And again, as we age, we have to pace ourselves and we have to realize I cannot do everything I did when I was 19. I can't go at that pace. If you think you can, try to do that sport that you did when you were in high school. Try to do a cartwheel. Try it and see what no, I don't want to tell you to try it. I'm just saying it's not easy to do those things and you don't want to injure yourself. So just recognize that we are aging. And the way that we age gracefully and intentionally is to redeem the time, keep track of our time by journaling, writing down a schedule, writing down how we're feeling, what's our focus. And we're doing that every day. Not only do we do that, but we're monitoring, are we doing what we say we're going to do? So be that person that's always writing. Be that person who has that list, who's organized, who's structured. Nowadays we come on a Zoom, we go to meetings, we go to church, we go to these places that we're learning, and we don't take notes. And I know we like to say, yes, I have my AI assistant recording this meeting. That's great. Yes, I'm going to go back and replay it. But I want to ask you a question. You don't have to tell, but how many times do you actually go back and listen to those meetings again and those recordings? As good as the content may be, how many times? And so when you actually take notes, whether on your phone or with paper, you're embedding it further deeply. You're listening to what's happening, but you're also writing and taking a note and embedding it further deeply into your psyche, into your spirit. So I want to encourage you to bring back the notebooks, bring back the focus, bring back the journals, bring it back, and so that you can see more progress. So what I was going to say is I used to just say yes to everything. There are some things we love to do, and there are some causes that we just cannot say no to. And people know it. If somebody, Girl Scout cookies, some of y'all cannot pass by those Girl Scout cookies without stopping. And you might have 5 boxes already in your freezer, in your car, wherever you keep your stash at work. But you're like, well, I can't pass by little Susie over. I got to get at least one. Like you really care about, You just want those cookies. But no, you do. You love Girl Scouts. You love helping children. So you go and you buy one. Or if there's 3 kids asking you to buy something, you're like, I got to buy one from each one. We've got to learn how to say not right now. Or we've got to learn how to say, I've already given for the year. We've got to learn how to just be humble enough to say no. And to recognize our weaknesses and avoid those places, avoid those stores, avoid those people, so that we can save our money and stay on task, so that we can keep our promises to ourselves to be radically disciplined. Now, one of the ways that I didn't say no, and I got frustrated a lot, is I felt like in doing things within the church or for church people or church organizations, I always had to say yes physically to whatever I was asked to do. And what I realized through a friend is I was getting upset. Like, they just asked me to do everything. Don't they know all the things I'm doing? They keep asking me to do more and more. And they said, that's because you keep saying yes. They don't know you don't want to do it, or you're tired, or you're overwhelmed. They think, oh, wow, she's amazing. She can do it. She keeps saying yes. Yay, I know I can depend on her. And I never thought of it that way, because I had a victim mentality, like somebody was using me, when really I just wasn't being mature enough to say, no, my plate is full. And then they could go on and actually get the person who had the energy, the time, the gifting to do it. Why would we say yes to something we don't like? We're going to do it in attitude. We're going to be too tired afterwards to function, to do. Why do we say yes to those things? We do it out of false obligation sometimes. You can answer this question for yourself. We do it out of false humility. We do it out of wanting to feel needed because, or sometimes we do it out of emotion. We do it out of tradition and pride. And as we're exercising radical discipline, we've got to start saying no. Did you know that it is honorable to have a good run doing something? Did you notice that in leadership roles within the government and different organizations that are structured, that they've found over time and over research that it's good to have a run, like a 2-year window or a 4-year window. Like, it's not good to do something forever. Number one, it activates power complexes within some people. And they can feel like we all, okay, we all know that somebody's time is up and they need to sit down. But because there's no checks and balances, they just were running stuff and they should have been sat down somewhere. Have y'all know, y'all can think of a situation like that. I know you can. And so we don't want to be that person that's just saying yes and not giving people the opportunity to go and find someone who's better suited. So when you're journaling and when you're keeping track of everything that you're obligated to do and you're keeping track of your schedule, you can really see how amazing you are and how much you have helped people, how much you've served, how much you give, and you can have a checks and a balance. I like to tell people, why don't you keep a resume of the awards you get, of the compliments you get, of the, we get what's that word in jobs? We get evaluations. And in those evaluations, they'll say, this is what you need to work on. This is what you did good. And we focus on what we need to work on, which is good. But we kind of don't keep track of what we did great and the projects we completed. So I really want to give you some more homework. And the night's homework is just starting a resume for 2025. I'm not telling you to go backwards. You can if you want to, but start a resume for all of the great things that you've done, that you do in 2025, and the projects that you complete. Because while you're doing them is the perfect time to keep track. Update your work resume as you're working on projects, so it's not so daunting to have to do it all at once and try to remember. It's important to do things quickly. So the time from thought to execution, we want to shorten that. I was talking to, again, the 19-year-old son, and it was just so funny because I have we have different tones of voice. Our tone of voice and our facial expression needs to match what we're telling someone. So if something is sad, we're not going to giggle and smile. If we're serious, we need to have the look of someone who is serious. And so I was speaking to him in a serious tone about business. And he was like, saying, oh, I switched up and, he didn't like it. And I said, now I want you to understand that my tone of voice is, I'm not speaking to you in a hard tone, in a harsh tone, but I'm more of a type of, with him. So when I switched and we were talking about business, he was like taken aback a little bit. And I love the fact that I was able to, from adult to adult, say, this is not just the tone that I'm speaking to you in. This is the type of tone you need to take when you're conducting business, so that people understand this is a serious businessman. This is a person who takes their ideas, their business, their money seriously. And I can't play with this person. I can't get over on this person. I can't hustle this person. So the way that you speak up and that you show up and the way that you're talking to people is important, so they understand that you're direct and you mean business. So I think that it will help us to stay in a place of peace if we journal what we're feeling and what we have to do. Then we can see the areas that we need to cut. This journey of radical discipline is going to expose so many things about ourselves. And it's not for condemnation. It's for us to achieve a greater sense of clarity. What are we doing? What should we not be doing? What are we trying to accomplish? What are our goals? Did that change? I had a season in my life where I worked with preschoolers, and I love little children. They're wonderful. But that season is not now. I don't work with them anymore. That season changed. I love them, but I would not be able to sit with them for hours and hours and do crafts and snacks and day after day after day. I wouldn't be able to do this at this time. And so you're not failing and you're not wrong if you see that it's time for a window to close or a door to close or a season in your life to end. The beautiful thing about it is there is another group of people, there's another organization, there's another business venture for you. So if it's the sooner the better that you make hard decisions. If you're seeing that your business is slowing down and you've been putting funds into it and you've been doing marketing and you've made different changes and it's just not taking off anymore, you can wear yourself down along with the business, or you can say, okay, what's my plan of execution to sell? What's my plan of execution to shift? How can I get ahead of what's happening? So many times we let shame, our guilt, our failure, our negative emotions paralyze us, overwhelm us, or cause us to stay, to ignore what we need to handle. And so you're not failing if you have to shut something off, shut something down, revamp it. Maybe you put it to the side and relaunch it in a year or two. I don't know what your plan of action will be, but I want to encourage you that you gain momentum by cutting your losses. I don't know how I went all over there, but basically, as you're journaling, you'll see the truth about some things that you may have rose-colored glasses about. You'll see the facts. On paper, it's black and it's white. Numbers never lie. Facts never lie. Emotions do. And our preferences do. And people do. But the paper and the pen, it's like they say, it's undefeated. So I want to encourage you to get a journal. Get something, a new one, a fresh one. Even at the dollar store, get something for your radical discipline journey. And journal the journey, okay? So in pursuing peace, here's what you're going to do. You're going to recognize the people that cause you anger or anxiety, the situations that cause you anger or anxiety, the places where you are that cause you anger and anxiety, and then the things that you watch. So sometimes like entertainment will do that, will cause us to be angry, anxious, and so we've got to recognize that, and we've got to just remove ourselves from those. We got to limit those engagements and interactions. We have that control to do so. So when you're pursuing peace, there is a thing that's called peaceful productivity. Now, I'm not talking about a busy work day and you're feeling, that, what's that word? Adrenaline rush. I like busy work days because it makes the day go fast. So I'm not talking about having busy days or the hardness of starting something. I'm talking about the things that are draining you of your motivation to be radically disciplined, that are stalling you, are stopping you from going forward and doing what you need to do for yourself or to meet your goals. Those people, those places, and those things that we watch, that we engage, that take away our peace, that make us feel these negative emotions, that drain us of focus. Those are the things that we need to right now be getting an exit plan or strategy from. We've got to clear our space before we can see where we're going. And so in the first parts of our radical discipline journey, there'll be some clearing happening. So that's what I want to wrap up today, kind of early today, but I want to wrap this up with a little prayer. So some of us, we do not like conflict. We would rather just be miserable than to address something, but not in this season of radical discipline. We've got to clear the air so that we can breathe. We've got to get everything cleared out that is uncertain. We've got to get clarity. We've got to get clear with ourselves. We've got to know which way that we're going. If we don't deal with it now, it'll deal with us later, okay? So, God, thank you so much for our time of radical discipline and us pursuing peace. And it may be hard at first, but we're going to be honest with ourselves. We're going to not just have ideas and say them or go and start running and doing things without sitting down and writing it out, without writing out the plan, the business plan, the budget, without writing out the goals, the action steps, without writing out the SMART goals, without taking time to plan, to do research. We're not rushing. We're not doing things halfway. We're not building houses on sand, but we're actually digging deep, to build firm foundations. And that starts, Lord, with recognizing what stops us from feeling peace. What are the things that remove our peace? Who are the people that rob us of peace? And I ask that we have the strength, the boldness, the bravery, the wisdom, you word our mouths to have hard conversations that would end these partnerships, relationships, work projects, whatever we need to wrap up. I pray that it wraps up quickly. Now, for those who are saying, I just can't, I don't know how. God, would you just come in and do a miracle? Lord, you just close the door. You wrap it up. You cause that thing to wrap up. God, you fix it. Because when we don't know what to do, we can call on you. That's the benefit of being yours. And I pray that you would also give us not an extreme attitude when we feel anger, that we don't lash out in anger. As we are becoming self-aware, don't let us be rash in how we move and what we do, but let us think things through and then let us execute. Thank you for giving us the strength to deal with that coworker that's negative and let them know this is the great time to frame it. And listen, in 2025, I'm really not trying to hear a lot of complaints. My heart is full of gratitude and I just want to be positive. If you come to me with the issue, please come with the solution. Thank you, God. There's an answer right there. Give us the right words in these situations so that we can have peace all around us throughout our day. In Jesus' name, amen. That's what happens sometimes when you ask God or sometimes you have a mentor, sometimes you don't, but ask for help. You'll get an answer. And did y'all write that down? That was good. Whatever it is that you are feeling like you need to address, get a script first and stick to the script. Do not get in emotions, because 9 times out of 10, when you're addressing something hard, emotions can rile up. You can't get caught up in your emotion. You've got to have that script. I want to share one more thing before we sign off. I was in a class for grief, and one of the things that the teacher said is when you first make your entrance from seeing people after you've maybe had maybe someone has passed away, you've lost a job, you've had a divorce, you've had a shameful thing happen, because sometimes people are in scandals. So your first time going around family, friends, or your community or work, you might have, he said, this is not that, but like an index card there about this side, and you can write down that was, because some people will ask you, most people won't, but some people might come up to you and maybe they're concerned, maybe they're being nosy. We don't know why people ask questions, but you just say, that was really tough for me and I'm not ready to talk about it. That's your response. That was a really tough situation and I don't want to talk about it. Or whatever, that's one response. But he was saying, write your response on the little index card, keep it on you. If you're comfortable saying the script, say it. But if not, you can give them the paper. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, it works. You can give them it and you can say, I don't want to talk about that. The paper will say it for you. I know it might sound rude at first, but I think it's respectful and it works. So if you don't have to explain to anyone, you don't have to tell anyone anything, you can just let them know, I really don't want to talk about that. Or whatever your script is. But that's one of the ways that you can go into an environment, not running, but facing hard things, having hard conversations. Like I said, somebody that's negative all the time, somebody that's stealing. Have you ever had a work environment where you know somebody was stealing and you knew you needed to tell somebody or to say, hey, you're taking little things from, something uncomfortable. And you can say that, hey, we have this going on. I don't know who it is, but, I just know that if I find out, I'll report it. Whatever you got to do, address things, find the strategy to address what you need to address. Okay. All right. I'll see you back here at 6. Remember, the YouTube page is up and we are posting the videos there for those who don't have Facebook. So I enjoy your journey of radical discipline. Thank you for joining. Good night.